Welcome back to another lesson. We're going to be looking at 2 point perspective, and we're going to do an exercise where we're going to be making some boxes. Don't be alarmed. The amount of boxes is not that difficult to accomplish. The only thing that I would like you to do before you get started is to make sure you take a look at this worksheet as I have set it up and try to do as close as possible a replica onto your paper. So I would like you to have 3 rows of 5 boxes each, and I would like you to make sure that they are set up the same way that I have them here. I also would like you to make sure that you have a vanishing point 1 as you see it over here, and vanishing point 1 and a vanishing point 2 as you see it over here. The red line that is in between them, make sure you draw a very light line, so that you have an idea of where this eye level is. So unlike 1 point perspective, the vanishing points are not necessarily dictating where the viewer is in the picture. However, whenever you are doing a 2 point perspective drawing, you want to make sure that the vanishing points are not within the borders of your drawing. So notice that I have a red box, and outside this red box I have my vanishing point set up. Usually the farther apart the vanishing points are, the better your drawing is going to look. Otherwise it's going to look very it's just going to look warped and not right if the vanishing points are too close. Now, since we're limited by the size of our paper, and we can't necessarily put the vanishing points onto a drawing board, we're just going to deal with it as it is right now. So let's start with the top row and move down to the next rows as we finish them. So starting with this first box right here, and I know you're like wondering, well, where are the squares? Well, in 2 point perspective, you do not start out with a square. You actually start out with a vertical line, which represents the corner that is closest to you in the, in the drawing. So at the top of your line, you're going to line up your ruler with the vanishing point 1. Okay, and then I know this is going to be a little bit difficult if you have a tiny ruler, so you want to get a long ruler for this, because you're going to have to line up the same 2 points with vanishing point 2. And I need to make sure that I'm actually going to that vanishing point. Okay, so the next step is for you to make a vertical line between the 2 lines that you drew, and another one. Then from vanishing point 1, you're going to go to this corner right here on the right of the first initial segment, and then from this corner you're going to go to vanishing point 2, and I want to make sure that I'm going there, and you also want to make sure that you are right there at that intersection. Okay, and then guess what? Erase. You want to erase these lines. So draw light as you can possibly draw, because you want to make it easy for yourself when you have to erase. And there's your first box. So the next boxes are going to be done exactly the same way. Now, here's the problem. The problem that I'm gonna have is erasing on my end. So let me actually work on a different layer, because the last thing I want to do is erase my previous boxes. Now, when you do this with a pencil, you can sort of like stop right there, skip over the box, and then continue on to the corner, and do the same thing over here. And then you do the same thing to this one. You want to make sure that it goes to the corner. And then again you draw another line. Okay, and then you draw 2 more verticals. And if you use a grid paper, just follow the grid lines. Don't worry about anything else. So in 2-point perspective, one thing that I want you to keep in mind is that each corner of the box is going to be lined up with the vanishing point, and you're going to have lines that go to both vanishing points. So you can see that this corner right here goes to vanishing point 1, and if this box was transparent, that corner will also go to vanishing point 2. Okay, so I just want you to remember that simple rule, and that's the reason that I had to add another layer so that I don't erase your box. And there's your second box. Moving on to the next one. You're going to do exactly the same thing. And I will explain to you in just a moment why I'm having you do so many different boxes. Because even though I think you might be hating me right now for making you draw so many boxes, I think you will be surprised to find out that there is a very, very particular reason other than to make your life miserable. Now, the beauty about doing these boxes is that the more you practice, the better you get at it, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of erasing. A lot of erasing. But if you draw this lightly, it shouldn't be a problem. You do want to be as, as precise as possible, because sometimes the slightest little mistake can mess things up. Snowy is once again sleeping at my feet over here, and if you hear a little bit of snoring, that would be him. Okay, so we're up to the last box on top. Now, if your boxes seem to be slightly different than mine, okay? By slightly, I mean, I don't know, maybe the sides are too wide or too narrow or something. I, I think there's many different ways in which they can be different. I don't want you to despair, because the whole point of doing uh, this exercise and to do this many boxes is for you to see how tiniest um, the tiniest, I don't know, position change can affect the shape of the box. So you can see, like how the box view can change, or the size can look a little bit different, even though I kind of try to to use the same kind of, well, not so much over here. I think I made this slightly different. So anyways, it doesn't matter. I should have made this line over here instead of where I made it, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. But notice how even though this line right here, this line right here, and this line right here are exactly two squares away from this line, and this line, the feeling that you get from these boxes is that for some odd reason they don't look like they're the same size, and that's mainly because of the direction in, or at least the angle of these lines right here. So you can see that the tiniest movement of this box across the paper can change the way that you see it. So that's one thing, that's the main reason why I'm having you draw so many boxes, is that you can see these progressive changes in the way that the box looks. So even if it's the same exact dimensions, okay, so let's say you take an Amazon box and you put it in front of you, okay, and then you change position as you look at it, or you take out your phone and you take different pictures from different angles. One thing that you're going to notice is that the sides are going to look either narrower or wider or something like that, depending on where you're in the picture and looking at it, or the direction from where you're looking at it, your point of view, that is. So that's why I'm having you draw so many boxes. Okay, so moving now to the one in the middle. The one in the middle, because they are at eye level. Snowy agrees. I don't know what he wants to tell you right now. Snowy. No. Snowy. Snowy. Fikuminta. Fikuminta. So this box right here is going to be at eye level. Therefore, you will not see the top or the bottom of the box. You only see the sides. I apologize for Snowy, who's a little bit grumpy right now. Oh, he is growling, yes. Snowy. Did you have a bad dream? What happened to you? What happened to you? My videos have special effects in them, don't they? Yes, you hear birds and you hear dogs. Let me merge these down so that I don't have a gajillion layers. Okay, so moving on to the next one. So once again, you line up the top and the bottom of the line with the vanishing point. And then you repeat same process with the next vanishing point. there. And then again, okay, erase. Okay, do you see how the box changes? So even though the box that is above, okay, and the box that is below are pretty much the same size, right? What you are seeing is, slight changes in the way that the box looks. So that's the main focus. I mean, your point of view really determines the shape of this box. Make sure that you use your ruler properly and you hold it steady so that it doesn't move on you. Sometimes if you're not careful, your ruler may slip. As many times as I have demonstrated how to do these perspective boxes or perspective worksheets, I don't think I ever get tired of it. I really enjoy it, and I hope you will too. I think the magic of seeing, how just a few lines and some simple rules to follow really create magic on paper. So let's change this a little bit. So remember, each one of these boxes had 3 lines on the right side, 3 boxes on the right side. Let's do 3 boxes on this side too. I'm going to change it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, that looks really good. So erase. Oh, did I forget to merge? Yeah, I did. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be very careful when I erase over here because I don't want to erase that box. In some ways, I'm demonstrating what I would do if I had to do this with actual pencil and paper. And that's basically what I'm thinking that you will be doing as well. Just be very careful. Okay. There. Let's see what I've done here. Yeah. Okay. So that's your middle row. And notice how the point of view changes the shape of the box. Okay. So the bottom row is a mirror image of the top row. So I'm expecting you to be experts at this by now, because you had so much practice. Is this right over here? Yeah, pretty good. So once again, let's do what we did up here with the two squares over, and you'll see what a drastic difference that's going to be for this side. You'll see. So this is 2 boxes over, and this is 3 boxes over, like we did up until now. And you'll notice what a huge difference that makes in the way that you perceive this last row, because I want to try to be as careful as possible to make sure that we are consistent with this. Okay, so that goes to vanishing point 2, and then this next one goes to vanishing point 1. There you go, look at that box. So you can see how the point of view changes. Even though we are keeping some of these measurements the same, that doesn't mean anything for the drawing. In other words, in reality, these boxes would be different sizes, even though we're thinking that, oh, by keeping these distances between the lines consistent, we're making them all the same. No, we're not. We're not making them the same. We're actually, like, if this was a bunch of boxes in front of us, all of these boxes will have a different size altogether. So one thing that always happens in class when I do these exercises is that people or the kids always tell me that I go too fast. And here's the wonderful thing about seeing a video like this. And the wonderful thing about it is that you can press pause, you can press rewind, you can watch me 10 times in a row, and I will not be upset whatsoever. And I know that it can be frustrating when you're making a mistake and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to erase this, and Mrs. C is, 3 boxes ahead of me. I totally understand that. But hopefully, um, my showing you this on a video in high resolution, might I add, with the possibility of zooming in. I hope that's going to be a great help to you all. And it's possibly one of the best things for my sanity as well. Okay, so always make sure that you are going to the vanishing point and not anywhere else. Okay? So, if you're wondering what happened to my music, well, my music just died on me. So, if you hear voices, that will be my neighbors or my husband or my son. Hopefully, it's not gonna be too long before I actually finish this for you guys. We're not going to shade it this time, and the reason we're not shading it is mainly because I want to make sure you guys take your time with the boxes and not worry about one additional thing. Okay, and then another vertical. This is the most important thing, is to make sure that all of your vertical lines are perfectly vertical and they are parallel with the first initial line that you make, which again, I'm hoping you are using grid paper for this. And also make sure that when you are making these lines, you go from corners and not from some other place. And then last, yay, the last one. And then one more time to this other vanishing point. I think 2-point perspective is probably my most favorite. Between 1-point and 2-point perspective, I prefer 2-point perspective, mainly because I only have to worry about doing the vertical lines and not the horizontal. And then one more time. Okay, we're going to the corner. Hopefully I am going to the corner. This is almost like target practice, right? The tiniest little, yeah, that's good. Okay, okay, wow, look at this. Can you imagine? Wow, look at this box below. Even though we kept the same distance between the lines, the vertical lines, right? Is it 3? 1, 2, 3, yes. Check out how different the box looks. Oh, again, I forgot to. Oh my goodness, Mrs. C. Mrs. C. You need to get your act together here. Everybody makes mistakes, right? Let's see. Yeah, if you don't erase the lines, it just looks flat. And it doesn't look three-dimensional like you would like it to look. So make sure you take the time to clean it all up. And there you go. Voila. 2-point perspective boxes. That looks pretty good, I think. Once you shade, something like this, it looks even better. But I really wanted you to see how, the box doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean that, if you make the same distance between the 3 verticals, it doesn't mean that the box is going to look equal in size with the other ones. You really just have to look and see. And it's all about observation, and it's all about making sure that you understand the angles and how everything goes. Okie dokie. Hopefully that taught you something new, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.